Susan Collins is appalled at what's going on out there. Not Roe v. Wade being destroyed, not her being shown to have been a fool to believe all these Republican potential justices saying that they're not going to overturn Roe v. Wade. No, she's losing it over chalk, because she was forced Saturday night apparently to call 911 because someone had written in chalk outside of her house in Bangor, Maine. You can see a picture of it right here. Here is the, we should have really blurred it, because if you look at that and you take the full force of that chalk into your eyeballs, your head could explode. Anyway, what does it say? It says, Susie, please, Mainers want WHPA, vote yes, clean up your mess. I'm sorry, we're probably gonna get in trouble for the language that I just used. Or can we bleep that out afterward? I wouldn't wanna run afoul of the censors. That is what she saw, JR, and it caused her to call 911. It literally has the word please in it. And she's terrified. What do you think? You're muted, by the way.
Damn,
we gotta figure out that
I'm typing. I don't want the click to happen.
No, I've been doing it for years. It's fine.
I think it's because they called her Susie. So call her outside of her name, make sure she doesn't really, not respected enough. And that's worth calling the cops over to make sure that people know that this sidewalk chalk. I wonder what happens if a kid runs out in front of her house and puts up, what do they used to draw? What was it called? Not double dutch, that's the jump roping. Hopscotch.
Hopscotch
boards out in front of her house. She goes, hello, police. There's children out front and they have these weapons in their hands. It's actually rubbing off on their fingers. Oh my God, they're wiping it on their pants. It's
a powdery substance.
I want to say it because it used to stress me out. Yeah, it's anyway, so I'm not sure if she thinks this was gonna get some kind of a positive attention, or as we mentioned before, Marsha Blackburn a second ago, they want to push this narrative that anyone that is protesting their stance and their points of view of taking away women's rights are violent and angry, and somehow she thinks she can have this as an example. This should be laughed out of. Like the police should have showed up and been like, can you go back inside now? In fact, we're gonna write you a ticket for wasting police officers' time. There's a charge for that. It's an absolute waste of time after they see the devastation that happened in front of her house.
Well, they did put out a message. A spokesperson for the Bangor Police Department says the message was not overly threatening. Yeah, no, it wasn't. And look, by the way, I don't want people to threaten violence against public officials, and good, that hasn't happened. That's not actually what's happening. Yep. They're not threatening the justices, so let's just continue with our free speech, which the right loves to performatively pretend that they actually care about. Clearly they don't. Whether you're marching kind of far away from their house or you're literally writing in chalk, they melt down over it. They don't care about free speech, even chalk speech. But to your point, why forget about this? Well, because let's say, JR, hypothetically, that your party, your political movement was about to do something unprecedented, incredibly politically dangerous to you, because you know that the people don't agree with you. Wouldn't you want to make the news about something else? Last week it's about the leaker, not the leak. You can't leak it. And now they don't even care about the leaker anymore. Now they're under not the protesters, not the marchers. You can't march.
And all those things have to be exclaimed to this higher degree, like leak. Mitch McConnell said it openly. The story is not about what the Supreme Court is about to do. The story should be about these leakers. Hey, you tell your story, Mitch. And the rest of the country don't tell us what to talk about, because it's obvious that you want to avoid that. Again, these Republican strategists and advisors always tell these folks, hey, you got to focus in on these culture wars, not about policy. The policy's out. We have to focus on the culture war part. Aren't these libs, aren't these progressives so violent to be upset that women's rights are being taken away from them? Can you believe them? Yes, I can.
Oh no, JR. We've messed up. Doggy Teeth in the chat says, I love TYT, but I will have to report this blatant airing of chalk. No, think about my family. Come on, I don't want to lose my job.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.